Hi everybody, Dan Illman along with Mike Beer. Welcome to Breeders Cup Focus. In this edition, we're going to take a look at the top contenders for the Breeders Cup Juvenile Fillies. Let's take a look at this list compiled by DRF's Southern California analyst Brad Free, and the morning line odds, preliminary morning line odds, are also made by Brad. Fina is your 5-2 morning line favorite, deservedly so. She's just dominated her competition in Southern California in her last 3 races. She answered the 2-turn question last time out in the Chandelier. She showed that she could sit off of another horse. These were 2 major questions going in for Fina, and we'll show that replay in a little bit, but she just dominated that field, and she has some fast races.
Yeah, I mean, she's got fast figures on the way in. She's already won a couple of grade 1s on the way in. She answered the 2-turn question last time, at least in some respects. So yeah, there's nothing really to knock about her. It's perfectly logical to make her the early morning line favorite for the race.
Second choice on Brad's morning line is Serengeti Empress, who's won her last 2 races by a combined, oh, my math's not very good, 33 lengths, I think.
Sounds
not in
right.
fast time as Fina, but how can you argue with success like that? Tom Amoss is a nice starter of alternation here. Now, I'm not sure what she's been beating, but she's been destroying those fields.
Yeah, I mean, that's the real question, is how she'll class up when they step her up into a bigger race at the Breeders' Cup, because they did try her once in what you would call a better field at Saratoga. She was really no match for those horses. 2 blowout wins in a row. Usually margins of victory like that have a lot more to do with the competition you're facing.
Restless Rider, recent winner of the Alcibiades at 9-2. Jaywalk, recent winner of the 1-turn Frizette at 6-1. We've got Sipican Harbor, who upset the Spinaway for Gary Contessa at 8. Then Vibrance, Reflect, and Splashy Kisses. Let's go back to Santa Anita's Chandelier Stakes, a grade 1 race. Fina was odds on to win this. Blinkers off, 2 turns for the first time. She sat off the pace setter. She took over. Way more professional as well in the stretch without the blinkers. She had trouble with her lead changes at Del Mar. Not so here.
Yeah, I mean, she did absolutely nothing wrong this racing, which is way the best. I would say from here on out, instead of watching her in this replay, watch the horses behind her. There's nobody running behind her in this race. So while I do agree with her being the early favorite for the race, I don't know how sold I am on this horse, Dan.
Let's talk a little bit about Restless Rider, because the way she won that debutante stakes, second time out at Churchill Downs, where a horse went wrong right in front of her, and she lost several lengths at a crucial point entering the turn, and Brian Hernandez Jr. never moved a muscle. He knew exactly what he had underneath him. She cruised up, and then she went on to win by 12, and I think she disappointed a few people when she got beat in the Spinaway. I wonder if Ken McPeek still, though, was using that as a means to an end. He tinkered with the Lasix, which is just a genius McPeek move over the years. You can check Formulator. And I love this professional effort in the Alcibiades. Her first race around 2 turns. We'll turn into the stretch of the Alcibiades, and Restless Rider got a good forward position in this race. She's turning into the stretch with the lead right now, and she just goes on about her business. Career best Beyer speed figure here of an 84. It's not comparable to the Finas just yet, but I think she still has upside.
I do too. I think she's still heading forward. She got a perfect trip in this race, but she actually really ran. I mean, she took it over with no trouble at all. She's clear all through the stretch. This horse that runs second to her actually ran pretty well. Yeah, nothing wrong with her, but she wasn't getting anywhere near this horse. Restless Rider, she's done absolutely nothing wrong. You mentioned the Spinaway prior to that, and while she didn't win that day, she did not have an easy trip in that race either.
That was a race where it was pretty fast paced. She was kind of in between laid.
Stuck 4 wide all the way through the turn in that race. She had a lot go wrong in that race.
And again, the last run was the best run in that race. It was a good effort for Restless Rider. Who really hasn't run poorly in any one of her races. And I wonder if she's got the most upside of any of the fillies in this year's Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, taking nothing away from Jaywalk, recent winner of the grade 1 Frizette. It was a big ask. Yeah, I know she had 3 sprint races to give her some bottom stretching out, but she was still stretching out from 5.5 furlongs to a mile, facing a very hot maiden winner that took a lot of money, that being Covfefe. Let's turn into the stretch of the Champagne, and I love the fact that Jaywalk used her speed. She took the race to Covfefe. She is still going on with it on the lead, and Covfefe has had enough at this point.
Yeah, I mean, who knows, what the real excuse is for Covfefe, or maybe she's just not that good. Maybe she doesn't want to go this far. Who knows? But either way, this horse just dominated this race. And I'm with you. Joel Rosario let her run out of there, and he just took control of this race up the backstretch. Nobody came to challenge her. She was always in control of this race. She turned away Covfefe with no problem. Much the best at the end. She's a pretty nice filly, this horse.
Now she'll have to go 2 turns for the first time in the Breeders' Cup, and if Covfefe isn't as good as the debut indicated, I think you look at the rest of the field and you peel the layers of the onion apart and you start saying, well, I know Cassie's Dreamer's a nice horse, but she was a $50,000 maiden claimer to start her career. The Todd horse that didn't run very well, probably A, a little bit too far for her, B, not very good. Brucia Latera was one of the longest shots on the board in that race and just kind of picked up the pieces. But Jaywalk ran fast from start to finish, and Covfefe, who was up close, was nowhere at the end. So maybe extra points for Jaywalk, a horse that's proven rating as well.
Yeah, she can do it from on or off the pace. And you're right about, if you want to peel that race apart, maybe it's not that strong. I would just say, and she didn't have an easy trip in that race too. I mean, right to the top and no pressure. But the horse she had to beat was Covfefe, and that's the horse who took a run at her off the top of the stretch, and she put that horse away.
Let's talk about Sipican Harbor, who's 8-1 on the morning line, winner of the spin away. Again, it was a race that kind of fell apart, a real fast pace up front. She made the last run, but she outran her odds, and I think she's pretty good. And the question is, does she get that kind of pace scenario in the Juvenile Fillies? Kind of unlikely, you would think. There is speed in there, but not probably an electric pace. Plus, she's missed, I mean, not really missed time, but she's coming into the race fresh, stretching out. You got to trust Gary here, but the odds are going to be right.
I would think she'll probably be a big price once again, so we'll just see what happens. I mean, so far, she's actually turned out to be pretty good. I mean, a lot of things went right for her in the spin away, but once they wheeled her out at the top of the stretch, she actually really ran in that race. I mean, she was finishing at the end of that race with no problem at all. Obviously, she blew out that off the turf field two-back. Her debut, she went 2 turns in her debut, long on the turf. She had a real trip in that race. She actually ran well that day, too. So far, she's run 3 times. She's run well in all of them.
Let's talk about Reflect a little bit, who is no match for the Alcibiades winner, Restless Rider, but I think she's moving forward with each and every start for a trainer that tends to do that. Keith DeZormo usually is very slow in getting these horses to improve as 2-year-olds. You rarely see a DeZormo horse win first or second out of the box. I gave that horse a little bit of a shot in the spin away. I think she kind of tried to mid-move into a fast pace. Manny Franco did nothing wrong, but the pace was fast, and she kind of flattened out a little bit late. And I thought she ran on here. I just am not sure if she is good enough to beat 2 or 3 of the top fillies right now, but I think she has some potential.
Yeah, I think she's okay too. I thought she ran fine last time, just following Restless Rider around the track. I still think Restless Rider's, at least at this stage of the game, just better than she is, but there's nothing wrong with this horse.
Fina, 5-2 on the preliminary morning line set by our Brad Freese. Serengeti Empress, so dominant in her last 2 races in Kentucky, at 4-1, and Alcibiades winner Restless Rider at 9-2. They are the top 3 preliminary morning line choices for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. You want to check the Friday print copy of Daily Racing Form for all the latest news and notes for all of the Breeders' Cup divisions. drf.com/BC. Check it out daily for updated odds, updated comments, and updated additions or deletions to any of these contender lists.